A big game at the Georgia Dome to open the 2016 college football season. Also, some bad news for Teddy Bridgewater. Welcome to the fastest 30 minutes in football.
Today's show is being brought to you by the Southeast Nissan dealers, Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers, and Volvo Cars of Marietta. Welcome to football's Play to Win with Falcons All-Pro defensive end Chuck Smith, Falcons All-Pro offensive tackle Bob Whitfield, Fantasy Football League Master Adam Brown, Game Analysis with Nikki Williams, Play to Win expert Jeffrey the Ed Schechter, Medical and Injury Update with Dr. Andrew Lalage, and your host, Atlanta sports legend Bob Neal. Today's SEC College Report is being brought to you by the Southeast Nissan dealers. Choose Nissan.com.
All right, all the speculation, all the preparation, all the wondering's over because we're starting with the college football season here in 2016. And by the way, a big one at the Georgia Dome to get things started between Georgia and North Carolina. And Chuck, the key thing there is going to be a quarterback battle.
Well, you're exactly right. And I think Kirby Smart made the right decision, Bob, to go with experience and go with Grayson Lambert. Jacob Eason is inexperienced. But guess what? For Grayson Lambert, experience only goes so far. Watch out for Jacob Eason eventually getting a chance to play. I think they're going to play two quarterbacks, Bob.
Two quarterbacks.
Two quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah? All right.
Yep.
Prediction right off the bat here early in the season from my guy Chuck. Now, Kirby Smart had something to say about Nick Chubb, the running back.
He's been cleared, and it's a situation where he's scrimmaged and done live things, and he's had a lot of practices where he's carried it more than 5 to 7 times, and we feel good about Nick. He feels great. He's ready to go, so he won't technically be on a pitch count by any means.
Bob Whitfield, I'm wondering about your thought on Chubb and just how big a part he'll be in this.
Well, definitely, Bob. He has to be the biggest part. Although Kirby Smart has been very coy about naming his quarterback, he's certain about that running back position. And you have to get a lot out of Nick Chubb if the Georgia Bulldogs don't have a great season. You got some other running backs in wait, but Nick Chubb is your guy. Give him a lot of carry, Bob. A lot of carries.
Okay, and the other side of that issue, of course, is North Carolina out of the ACC. And in recent years, North Carolina has been a tough team to deal with. As we take a look in their ACC rankings here, as you see everything from scoring to total offense, rushing, passing, sacks allowed per game. And Nikki, this is a tough North Carolina team.
Yeah, I mean, UNC is good. You've even got this ESPN senior writer that went on the record the other day saying that, well, he went as far as to say that UNC's running back, Elijah Hood, is actually better than Nick Chubb, and his Heisman campaign starts now. It ticked off some dog fans and some other rational thinking humans.
Elijah Hood at North Carolina. This weekend, North Carolina will not only beat Georgia, but a Heisman campaign will officially start. There will be a lot of running backs talent in the Georgia Dome. The reality is, sorry, Georgia, your history is what it is, but the best running back in that game this weekend on Saturday afternoon is going to be the guy wearing light blue.
Okay, when we talk about this,
How about that?
all right, you start with this. When we talk about this, Nikki, we've got running backs on both sides of the ball, not just Nick Chubb.
The reality is Ryan McGee, the guy that just said this, is from the NASCAR world. So where
why
I'm
are you
just
doing
saying,
NASCAR?
I'm not hating on it. I come from a NASCAR world, but no one cares what I think.
Okay.
If I said that Elijah Hood was better than Nick Chubb, no one would care if I said that, just like we don't care.
Stop.
Exactly, and good point. And Nikki is off and running early in the season, and that's our SEC report brought to you by Southeastern Nissan.
Today's Showdown of the Week is being brought to you by the Georgia Lottery, where every jackpot is a good jackpot.
All right, a lot of big games this weekend, but I like to go to Jeffrey, our upset caller. Any big games you see as upset possibilities?
I see 2 upset possibilities. I think Notre Dame could be beaten by Texas, and I think Clemson's walking into a trap at Auburn.
Okay, so Notre Dame at Texas, 10th ranked Notre Dame, Texas and Clemson at Auburn. Of course, that's always a big game, the Clemson-Auburn game. However, it's at Auburn, so that's why you see it.
Death Valley.
I'm upset.
You're
that
upset?
Makes me upset. No way. Against Deshaun Watson?
Home dog. Home dog.
Okay, we're off and rolling. Nikki calling out our predictor right at the beginning of the show. We are ready to roll on our first big weekend of college football here on Play to Win. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It's the final days of Nissan's Bottom Line Summer Event. Now save big with 0% for up to 72 months on 13 models and no payments for 90 days. Plus, get up to $3,000 bonus cash. Get to your local Nissan store today. This Labor Day weekend is your last chance to get big model year-end savings. Hurry, 0% financing, no payments for 90 days, and $3,000 bonus cash ends soon.
If you or a loved one are severely injured in a truck or car accident, there are many lawyers who will want your business. Now what do you do? Base your choice on who best can get the job done and help you put your life back together. Make your choice based on qualifications and experience rather than how many or how fancy the commercials are. Demand that the lawyer you see is the lawyer who actually represents you and avoid settlement mills that undervalue your case. I'm Roger Orlando. Call and ask for me directly at 678 Law Firm.
Congratulations, Stan. You won the Cash for Life game, so this is yours.
No way! No way! No way! I'll get the letter again.
Winning never gets old with Georgia's brand new draw game where you can win up to $1,000 a day for life. Introducing Cash for Life, all new from the Georgia Lottery.
Afoot and lighthearted, I take to the open road. Healthy, free, the world before me, the long brown path before me leading wherever I choose. The east and the west are mine. The north and the south are mine. All seems beautiful to me.
Lease the all-new 2017 Volvo S90 for only $499 per month at Volvo Cars of Marietta.
Today's NFL Report is being brought to you by Landmark Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Always the best deal, always.
Welcome back. Talking some NFL talk now, and there's some bad news for Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater is going to be out for the season. He has a dislocated knee and a torn ACL. And Bob Whitfield, I go to you for this as the former player. How do you group together when you lose a star like that?
Well, losing a star like Teddy Bridgewater, all of Minnesota might be reeling. So they're crying a purple rain down there in Minnesota, but they can't be out. You know, you got a new quarterback that's going to have to appear. You got running back and Adrian Peterson that's going to have to show up like he always does. And then you're going to have to just have faith in the coaching staff that they can get the Vikings to where they need to be.
All right, now I want to ask Chuck Smith this as a former player thing too. You know, injuries are part of it, and when you hit somebody playing football, I know it's okay if they get hurt. You want them to feel the pain, but not the injury. How do you look at that as a professional player, since it's both livelihoods?
Well, you're trying to do as much damage to them as you can, Bob, but you're not trying to injure them. You're just trying to knock them out. It gives you a competitive advantage because the bottom line is, with Teddy Bridgewater out, it gives everybody in that division a competitive advantage. So one of the things you try to do is you try to put as much pain on them as you can. You don't want to injure them for their career, but you're definitely trying to knock them out a little bit, rattle them a little bit when you play against your opponents.
All right, Jeffrey, let's get started with you on our playoff picks. First of all, and we'll chat about this, the NFC playoff picks. Who do you see going there?
In the East, I like the Cowboys.
Oh, what? Oh, sorry.
Sorry you were having a seizure.
He disagrees.
Sorry, Jeffrey. My bad.
Okay.
Prescott's a star in the making, and that's a weak division. New Orleans in the South, New Orleans is going to score a lot of points. The North, the Pack is back. In the West, Seattle is strong.
Yeah, okay. You want to cough again about that? What was your big issue there?
Dallas Cowboys. Number one of my issues in the New Orleans Saints, the worst defense arguably in the last decade resides in New Orleans. They're not making the playoffs.
Okay, this is good. We got this going. We'll just follow this.
But I respect
That's a good
you,
idea.
I respect
They're going to
your
score
game,
a lot
Jeff.
of points this year.
No, you old school.
I'm not sure that cough was a respectful
I've got half
cough.
of your
All right, let's take a
intestines on my
look at the AFC now, Jeffrey.
I like the Bills in the East. It's time for New England not to make the playoffs. The Colts in the weak South. If the Bengals don't play like thugs, they could be the best team in football. I'm like a Chiefs fan. I like the Chiefs with the Steelers and Raiders coming in as wild cards.
You say the Bengals don't play like thugs. I think you got to have a little bit of thuggery to have a good football team, right? Huh? Guys,
like it.
you played.
I mean, I definitely like that pick, Jeffrey, and I like what he did with the Raiders because we know the Raiders are a thug team. So
The Bills
I like
gonna
that.
get you fired on that pick. Bills ain't going to playoffs.
You know, if the Bengals, they could have gone all the way last year. They gave the game away against Pittsburgh, playing like thugs with stupid penalties and all that stuff.
All right, let's take a look at the conference champ that Jeffrey has picked here. Who's going to win the conference? You got Green Bay, Seattle, and Cincinnati, Kansas City.
I like Green Bay over Seattle. I like Cincinnati over Kansas City.
And Jeffrey will, of course, talk about the Super Bowl picks next week. We'll make you wait for that. The big story people have been talking about this week is something said by Colin Kaepernick. Take a look at this. I want to get your guys' view on this. I'm not going to stand and show pride for a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of all color. Do you support an athlete saying this? Forget whether that's right or wrong, because obviously it's a country that oppresses black people is something that a lot of people are going to agree with. But how about an athlete jumping in and saying something like that? I'll start with you, Bob. Where is that? How do you balance that?
Well, I think, Bob, first he has a forum, a platform for people to listen. And if he can provide his take on it, and that's what he's doing, it's his take on it. And I think as far as getting support from his other players, you'll find out, because I hear other NFL players are going to sit down during the national anthem. So I think Colin Kaepernick is trying to say something to America during an election year, and I don't fault him for it. He's using this platform to advantage to reach people.
Okay, how do you feel about it?
Well, really, I could care less, honestly, man. But I'm more looking at it from the football side. The 49ers, it's all about really a team. So remember, when Colin Kaepernick signed the contract, he was a part of a team. So all it did was bring negative energy to a team that's trying to get better. So that's the way I see it.
Nikki, your thoughts on it?
I think the real question is whether or not he needs to sit or stand on the sidelines. Anyway, I think it is easy. I'm white. I don't know if anyone sees that. I'm not going to be the white person that tells black people how to feel. You're mixed, so you have a better take on all of this. I'm just saying it is easy to sit.
Sorry, Rodney.
It is easy to sit. It is so easy to sit during a national anthem, but you could also argue that there are minorities dying every day for the United States and Afghanistan for $20,000 a year so that you can be in this country making millions of dollars. I see a little bit of that as well. I just think sitting is easy. What are you going to do to be a part of the solution? Because sitting isn't fixing it.
That's well said by Nikki. I'm glad I asked you that question now. Yeah,
I didn't realize you were mixed.
Started out kind of cute, ended up pretty substantial. We'll be back in just a moment with our hometown team report on Play to Win.
Fact. Landmark has the most, sells the most, so you save the most. That's why we continue to be #1, and nobody beats the Giant, because we do deals the other guys just won't. And now, the Giant's Labor Day sale is supercharging Giant discounts on over 1,800 cars and trucks, including $6,300 off Grand Cherokee and $14,000 off Ram. Marlow, Chambly, Athens, or LandmarkAutomotive.com.
Nobody beats Landmark. Nobody.
A Jeep celebration event.
Is your air conditioner blowing hot air? We can fix that. Turn to the experts at Carrier and SD Services. We've been installing and repairing air conditioners in Atlanta for 66 years. Need cold air? We can fix that. Save energy and money with a dual fuel system from SD Services.
Oh my gosh.
Congratulations, you're rich.
Time to start living out those dreams.
All right, guys. This is a simple game. We're gonna throw the ball. We're gonna catch the ball. We may even kick it.
Who's this guy?
No idea. It's like this.
We just rolled up in a limo and started talking.
Today's the day we leave it all on the bench. Who's with me? Come on.
Win up to $350,000 with the Atlanta Falcons Scratcher from the Georgia Lottery.
Introducing Longhorn's Great American Steak Dinner for $12.99. Perfectly seasoned sirloin with your choice of side, plus an appetizer. Or a dessert. Only at Longhorn Steakhouse. You can't fake steak.
Is your air conditioner blowing hot air? We can fix that. Turn to the experts at Carrier and SD Services. We've been installing and repairing air conditioners in Atlanta for 66 years. Need cold air? We can fix that.
Today's Hometown Team Report is brought to you by Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers, a higher order of pizza for your tailgating events.
All right, it's time to stop the talk and start walking the walk now as the season gets underway. Let's take a look at the Falcons and how they get started as we look at this 2016 regular season schedule. What do you see there right off the top, Chuck Smith?
Well, I see right off the top, they're going to be challenged by Tampa. Tampa has two things that the Falcons have talked about all offseason. Offensive line, can they protect Gerald McCoy? Tampa has one of the best pass rushes in the game. Also, can the Atlanta Falcons rush the passer? Jameis Winston's going to throw the ball often, a lot against the Falcons, so the Falcons will be tested early.
Well, and the public perception, Nikki, if the Falcons do start poorly.
And I hope, do you mean by public perception Falcons fans in particular?
I do.
One of the most fair weather fan bases there is out there. If they're going to figure it out, they better do it soon because the Falcons fans will jump ship. They're going to be out for Matt Ryan's head, particularly. They don't care that he hasn't had a top 15 ranked defense but one time ever in his career. They're not going to forgive him unless his name is Mike Vick.
Okay, and speaking of hometown team, another big hometown team, of course, is 680, and Chris Domino has this comment for this week.
Hey, Bob, look, there's no preseason in college football, so Kirby Smart's had to answer a lot of questions without his team being on the field. Is Nick Chubb healthy? What about Sony Michel? The big one, who's going to be your starting quarterback? Well, the time has come and gone. Now the big questions, the ones that really matter, in my opinion, come into play. Who's Kirby Smart as a head coach? He's waited a long time for this. And anybody who goes with the idea that he'll just do what Nick would do at that point doesn't know Kirby Smart. He's his own man. He's going to learn from some of the best in the business, including Nick Saban, of course. But what he does on game day is my biggest curiosity. What is he? Is he a risk taker? How much different is he than maybe a Les Miles who takes it to an extreme? How conservative does he want to be? Do you go for it on fourth down? Do you ever fake a field goal? What about a punt? Are you going to show some of those things in game one because you think that's the best way to win? The idea that Kirby Smart knows what he's going to do and he's thought about it for a long time, throw it out a window. No head coach knows what he's going to do until he's a head coach. I'm more curious about Kirby Smart's personality on the football field and how he controls and manages a game than anything else. We'll find out today.
This week's Keys to Success is brought to you by Volvo Cars of Marietta, where you can always expect the best.
All right, here's the curriculum vitae, if you will, of Kirby Smart, where he's been and what he's done, the new head man at the University of Georgia. And now it's time to talk a little bit about the keys to success brought to you by Volvo. What would you say the Georgia keys are going to be, Bob Whitfield?
Well, let's just keep it simple. If we're, anybody to follow. Heavy running dose of running back with Chubb, even a little bit of Elijah Holyfield, and let's see some good solid play up front on the defensive line, and then maybe Georgia can pull a victory out with North Carolina.
All right, now it's time for our You Be the Expert, brought to you by Ippolito's. This season, be sure to visit our website, playingtowin.tv, and take a shot to be #1 by picking this week's college and NFL winners against the spread. We'll be giving away Ippolito's $100 and $50 gift certificates to each week's first and second place winners. So make sure you come back early and often, prove your football IQ by being the best at predicting college and NFL games. Again, play You Be the Expert for a chance to win free Ippolito's gift certificates. Coming back in a moment, we'll have fantasy and lightning round on Play to Win.
Why can't I have a slice of yours?
You're a cartoon. You can only have cartoon pizza.
It's not fair.
Look, this pie is 100% real, and you're colored ink. It's physics, man.
Well, can you buy me a beer?
I can buy you a cartoon beer. Are you single?
It's a ride.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness. Mellow mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
Afoot and lighthearted, I take to the open road. Healthy, free, the world before me, the long brown path before me leading wherever I choose. The east and the west are mine. The north and the south are mine. All seems beautiful to me.
Lease the all-new 2017 Volvo S90 for only $499 per month at Volvo Cars of Marietta.
There are things in life that just go together. It's like they're always side by side. Because when we put them together, they're better. Like home and auto insurance from State Farm. They just go together. And they save you time and money. Just another way we're here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today.
Today's Fantasy Report is being brought to you by SD Services, serving all of Atlanta since 1949.
Fantasy football means Adam Brown, and you've got a headline name, Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater's injury is a trickle effect down, and it's going to affect Adrian Peterson the most. Adrian Peterson is now going to be a bottom half of the first round, top half of the second round running back. Let's go on to the running backs, though. My top running back here that I want to talk about is Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy is going to have a bounce-back season this year, especially with Jordy Nelson back. Look for him to have 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns this year. That's my projection, middle, third, fourth round. And then LeGarrette Blount.
Okay, and let's talk about wide receivers a little bit. I know you like Josh Gordon.
I do like Josh Gordon a lot. I think after his 4-game suspension, he's going to come back in a huge way and be the head guy in Cleveland for Robert Griffin III. And then Tyler Lockett and Kevin White. You guys must draft them middle to late rounds of this draft.
Okay, the tight ends. There's a guy on the Atlanta Falcons a lot of people won't know much about, Austin Hooper.
Austin Hooper is a kid out of Stanford with great hands. And with the Falcons' running game the way it is, Matt Ryan's play-action pass, Tammy and Hooper will be in the game at the same time, and I have a feeling that he's going to be a strong candidate for a lot of red zone targets.
Okay, a lot of good thoughts when you're picking your players.
Yes.
It's early, and like you say, it's starting right now.
Good luck in your fantasy drafts, everyone.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment with the Player Medical Report on Play to Win.
Today's show is being brought to you by Longhorn Steakhouse and the Georgia Lottery.
Is your air conditioner blowing hot air? We can fix that. Turn to the experts at Carrier and ST Services. We've been installing and repairing air conditioners in Atlanta for 66 years. Need cold air? We can fix that.
Fact. Landmark has the most, sells the most, so you save the most. That's why we continue to be #1, and nobody beats the Giant, because we do deals the other guys just won't. And now, the Giant's Labor Day sale is supercharging Giant discounts on over 1,800 cars and trucks, including $6,300 off Grand Cherokee and $14,000 off Ram. Morrow, Chambly, Athens, or LandmarkAutomotive.com.
Nobody beats Landmark. Nobody.
Always the best deal, always. A Jeep celebration event.
Congratulations, Stan. You won the Cash for Life game, so this is yours.
No way! No way! No way! I'll get the letter again.
Winning never gets old with Georgia's brand new draw game where you can win up to $1,000 a day for life. Introducing Cash for Life, all new from the Georgia Lottery.
It's the final days of Nissan's Bottom Line Summer Event. Now save big with 0% for up to 72 months on 13 models and no payments for 90 days. Plus, get up to $3,000 bonus cash. Get to your local Nissan store today. This Labor Day weekend is your last chance to get big model year-end savings. Hurry, 0% financing, no payments for 90 days, and $3,000 bonus cash ends soon.
Is your air conditioner blowing hot air? We can fix that. Turn to the experts at Carrier and ST Services. We've been installing and repairing air conditioners in Atlanta for 66 years. Need cold air? We can fix that. Save energy and money with a dual fuel system from ST Services.
Introducing Longhorn's Great American Steak Dinner for $12.99. Perfectly seasoned sirloin with your choice of side, plus an appetizer. Or a dessert. Only at Longhorn Steakhouse. You can't fake steak.
Today's player injury and medical report is being brought to you by the Orlando Law Firm. Put a former insurance lawyer in your corner.
All right, it's early in the season, but already some pertinent injury information with Dr. A.
Yep, Teddy Bridgewater, Tony Romo, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's start talking about some running backs.
Okay.
Arian Foster, last 12 months, a complete Achilles tear, and 2 years ago, multiple groin surgeries, multiple foot fractures. He is very, very much at high injury risk at 16%, and his performance from those injuries is way down at 59% out of 100%.
And I noticed you mentioned Devontae Freeman.
Yeah, now the good news with Devontae Freeman, very, very less number of injuries in the last 24 months. Young player, only a third season, so his injury risk is low. And his performance factor is at 81%.
All right, let's look into tight ends.
Yeah.
Greg Olsen.
Absolutely. Now, he's in his 10th season.
Yeah.
But still, low injury risk and health performance factor of 86%. Very, very high.
Yeah, how about Larry Donald?
Now, this is bad news for the Giants because he's in only his third season, but he sustained a grade 3 neck injury, which is a transverse process fracture, disc herniation, and that's severe for a tight end. That's why his injury risk is 14%. And that's moderate, and health performance is 62%, way below average.
Wow, it's always good to have you on here. Even early in the season for injuries, as people are picking them for fantasy teams and things, you need to know about things going in as well.
Yeah, Devontae Freeman, he's going to be good this year.
All right, that's it. And we'll be back in just a moment as we continue with football's Play to Win.
If you've been seriously injured on the road or at work, the last thing you need is to be bombarded by lawyers using actors and gimmicks to attract your attention. You need a real lawyer with the experience, support staff, and resources to fight for you and to maximize your recovery. I'm Roger Orlando of the Orlando Law Firm, and I want to change the way you think about attorneys. Speak to me personally about how I can be your lawyer in your time of need. Call me at 678-LAW-FIRM.
The Wizard, can you make me real so I can eat real mellow mushroom pizza instead of cartoon pizza?
Stand back. Here we go. Alakazam! Wiggity stickity poof!
I'm still a cartoon.
Then that'd be a no.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness.
Wiggity stickity poof.
Mellow mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
It's the final days of Nissan's Bottom Line Summer Event. Now save big with 0% for up to 72 months on 13 models and no payments for 90 days. Plus, get up to $3,000 bonus cash. Get to your local Nissan store today. This Labor Day weekend is your last chance to get big model year-end savings. Hurry, 0% financing, no payments for 90 days, and $3,000 bonus cash ends soon.
Today's lightning round is brought to you by Longhorn Steakhouse, now featuring great American steak dinner. Longhorn Steakhouse, you can't fake steak.
All right, it's time for the lightning round. And when we think of lightning, we think of Jeffrey, of course. And Jeffrey's got his picks for the week. Let's take a look at the games coming up on this first big week of college football.
The Kirby Smart era begins. I think Georgia will take the ball and just shove it down North Carolina's throat. Give the 2.5. You want a friend, buy a dog. You want to bet a home dog. I love Auburn at home with the 7.5 points against Clemson.
No way.
Then another home dog I like is Texas at home with the 3. It's now or never for Charlie Strong. The wrong team is favored in the Mississippi-Florida State game. Mississippi should be the favorite. Take the 4.
Take the 4. I love that. You want a dog. Dog's good, but a home dog's better. Is that kind of what you're saying?
You don't have to walk them either.
That's a good point. And by the way, you guys have any disagreement with any of those picks? No, we're all going with them.
Well, I mean, his dog might have fleas
That's
and
right.
a couple of ticks. I don't know. I'm going with Clemson. On that Auburn thing. Yeah, hey, Clemson it is.
And you think Ole Miss over FSU? I'm going to go with FSU. That's right. So here we are. We're already on his case this early in the season. Hope you've enjoyed the show today. For Jeffrey and Bob and Nikki and Chuck, I'm Bob, and we'll see you next week on Football's Play to Win.
Today's show has been brought to you by the Orlando Law Firm, SD Services, and Landmark Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.